we are watching our bodies heal from the inside out. And that's the weight dropping, you not being diabetic anymore, your your blood pressure normalizing, your hormones, your testosterone coming back up. Like,
there's a bunch of other stuff too. Hello. Hi. You can say hi.
Tonight we're going to talk about today. In this video,
it is tonight though.
They don't know that. It may not be tonight for them.
It's tonight
right
be
now.
It's tonight right now.
Metabolic health. Everyone tells us you're supposed to jump right in and grab your listener by the neck and compel them to listen about metabolic health.
Yeah, but metabolic health is never talked about. I didn't know there was such a thing until...
I still don't know what it means. Can you school me? I'm serious. I know I always sound sarcastic, but I am genuinely serious.
Well, it's just how your body functions internally, how it processes, how it uses fuel and processes the shit we put inside of it that we shouldn't, and everything else, and how it, it's our software, I guess, maybe our internal hardware. I don't know what you'd call it.
So then, what is metabolic disease? Is that what it's called?
If you're sick, it'd be a metabolic disease.
What did you have? You had
I was metabolically diseased and still am to some degree.
So that's
I'm healing.
Diabetes, right? Or insulin, some kind of insulin resistance.
Insulin resistant.
High blood pressure. I'm trying to remember.
I mean, even from the elevated fatty liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, probably some from alcohol too, because I drank like a fish.
Alcoholic and non-alcoholic fatty liver. You had all the fatty livers,
I guess. Well, from everything. Well, I know, but it was just interesting because, once again, we've probably talked about this before, is that carnivore for me was going to be so I could lose weight to get healthy, and losing weight is a piece of getting healthy, but it's not where it actually starts. It's just that when you make changes to your internal system by what you are not giving it or what you are giving it, if you need to lose weight, it will lose weight. If you need to gain weight, you will gain weight too. It will set your body, I believe anyway, from what I understand and what I've been learning for the last 9 months, that it will set your body on a course of where it needs to be.
Well, you've been learning it, and you've also been experiencing it.
Oh, good Lord.
You have personal anecdotal evidence, which is arguably the most important thing you can know.
The more people that talk about this, and the more people that listen to the bunches of people that are talking, thousands of people that are talking about this, the more this will spread, as far as, having a healthy, metabolic health, metabolically healthy, or healthy metabolism is what I was going to say.
Reading a book, because you jumped right in educating yourself. I just kind of came along for the ride. Now I'm starting to research. And one of the books I was just reading, don't remember which one. I've read Big Fat Surprise, The Cholesterol Myth.
The Clot Thickens.
And now I'm reading The Clot Thickens. One of them, they said the easiest way to tell if you are insulin resistant, which is a key part and seems to be like
it's probably
the first part of the metabolic disease. Like when you become insulin resistant, everything dominoes from there. So they said a very simple test is to walk into a wall, and if your belly hits first, you're insulin resistant.
Whether it's tested or not by blood work, it's still going there.
And so that definitely was me.
Oh,
before I started,
it was me.
It was definitely, yes.
Yeah, I knocked a hole in the wall trying to get close to it. Big old gut. Not really, but jeez. And still got a big old gut.
But I was looking around ever since I learned that little trick, and I was like, everybody.
And no freaking judgment to anybody for weight.
Oh, hell no.
That'd
be pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah. Well, and it's when we get emphatic and excited about things that we're changing in, it could sound judgmental to people that are struggling potentially.
Yeah.
So, but no,
we don't mean it judgmentally. We're excited because we were struggling,
still struggling in the sense it's a contention to get better still, but we
feel like we have a path though, which
solid
is so different.
Which is carnivore, because it eliminated all the garbage. You cut out all the processed food, all the seed oils, all the
oxalate,
all the stuff that creates toxicity in your body. And with that toxicity being gone now, I keep getting my blood work done to see what's changing, and when I started this, my liver enzymes were, I don't know, they considered it like stage 2 liver failure. They were like freaking out, wanting to do ultrasounds. They're like, you got problems. And I got my blood work back today, and the liver enzymes were like childlike low. I mean, it was just, I was like, wow. So my liver, which is, arguably probably between your brain and your heart, your most important organ, as far as running your whole system,
right,
is now healthy. Now, granted, my gut will still hit the wall first, so I'm still metabolically not sound. I'm getting sound. So like, things that, I was listening to Dr. Rob Siwas, and he was talking about cardiovascular health and the plaque that builds up in your arteries. And he was talking about how your body heals itself. And he was saying, well, he believes that you can reverse some of the arterial plaque, but there's like, he's seen it, but it's not like crazy widespread from seeing it. But he said, if you stop poisoning your body will start healing itself. And so what I heard today from him, another one that I was listening, well, I'll back up. I'll come back to that. He was just talking about internally, when you stop the process of damage, it's like a scar on the outside. So you cut yourself or scrape a knee, so to speak, and you can literally watch your blood harden and coagulate on that sore and start the healing process. Well, if you clean it out before it does that real quick, like, put some peroxide or something on it, it's going to heal clean, and you let your body do its job, but you don't go re-scrape it again. You don't put, I don't know, you don't put sugar on it, so to speak, inside your internal system. You don't poison that thing. You keep it clean, keep it protected, and your body will heal it. You can literally, day by day, you could take pictures and see it change. And he said the same thing with your arteries inside your heart. When that plaque stops forming, more formations of it, and the plaque that hardens, the small particles, when they stabilize, it's like a scar on the inside when it heals. So he said it's not an exact analogy, but it's good in the sense that you get an idea that it's healing on the inside just like it is on the outside, and your body wants to heal. Just because we don't see it means a lot of times we don't believe it, and so we don't act upon it. Like, we know when we cut ourselves, or we need stitches, or we need something, we know because we can see it. So when you get your blood work done and you go on this path of healing, like we have, especially with me with the blood work, which, because you haven't had any done, but like today I got my blood work back, like I said, and so my testosterone at some point in the last couple of years was down to like 250. Definitely, I didn't find that one on the charts, but I'm pretty well sure I saw like 258. I know I saw 320 something.
And I remember you being in the 200.
Yeah, and then I had my blood work done in December, and it was up to like 450 something. And I got my results back today. It was 757, which is like in a really good range, and I had her check it because I'm like, maybe I should get on some TRT, or something, just thinking about it. And it's like, well, that ain't going to happen, and I don't need it, which is just really interesting. So that's going on the inside. And as far as healing and your metabolism, your metabolic health changing, my HDL was not coming up. It was like at 31 at one point, and it got to 34 and stuck at 34, maybe 35. Well, today it was 45. So things that will increase that, of course, is exercise, omega-3s, reducing stress. And before I started working out, after I got the blood work, I've just got into my first week of working out finally. So that isn't even a factor in it yet. But the body,
next time it'll show,
right?
Yeah.
And so you can see results of being consistent over time, that your metabolic health is improving and you are healing. And so, there's a lot more nuances that are going to come to this too, as far as how to look at the blood work from people that, like Dr. Siwas, exactly, where he's gonna, he could, if I were to hire him online to look at the blood work, he could check some of my markers to see if I need to tweak or add fat or take away fat. He was talking about that when I was listening to today. And, as far as, more protein, more fat, what you need.
The perfect balance
Yeah.
to dial in a little deeper.
And the reality of this, all that honestly happened was took away the carbs, took away the seed oils, and took away the sugar, and everything changed. That's it.
And the deeper we go into this, the more we trust that healing process. Like he's talking about with the external, where you watch
you can see
a scar heal. We are watching our bodies heal from the inside out. And that's the weight dropping, you not being diabetic anymore, your blood your blood pressure normalizing, your hormones, your testosterone coming back up. Like
there's a bunch of other stuff too. So this is good.
All the allergies going away. That's even a sign that things inside of you are healing.
Right.
Not having acid reflux anymore.
That one's a weird one.
No snoring, no sleep apnea, like all of these things. So metabolic health basically is a fancy way of saying that your body is functioning the way it's designed to. Is that correct? Like, is that okay?
Yep, it's optimal.
I guess that term was so foreign to me.
So we're stepping towards that right now, and it's it'll probably take at least another year, in my mind, to get lean from where I was, muscle, increasing your muscle strength, helps your body, lifting heavy weight, helps your body take care of itself too, because those muscles and bone get, bone density gets bigger, and or is that more bone density increases bone density.
Bone density densifies.
Yes. So, and then there, another guy I was listening to on, I don't know, I guess maybe it's a podcast, or I don't know, it reminds me of TED Talks, but it's Low Carb Down Under, and it's from Australia. And Dr. Paul Mason, he's in this space too of carnivore and ketovore, and he was talking about metabolic health, and he said that in the statistics, only 12% of people in the United States under the age of 60 are metabolically healthy, and that includes kids. And only 2% of people over 60 are considered metabolically healthy. And that's not shocking and also mind-blowing at the same time. So it's really, it's not about exercise and diet. It's completely about nutrition. And of course there's the whole, surrounding of what's nutrition. And we believe that carnivore is nutrition. Because you're not poisoning yourself, and you're giving yourself everything you need for your body to function. So
we've proven it, and we're two very different people in terms of what we needed. I'm, entering menopause, and I had all these issues with my hormonal imbalances and all kinds of mental and emotional and physical symptoms. And then you were knocking on death's door, whether heart attack or stroke. It was coming.
It was coming.
The more I research, I think I wasn't able to really dig into the research right away, because it was too close to like there hadn't been enough separation between how sick you were. And I literally referred to it that way in my mind, that you were sick. So you were metabolically sick.
Right.
Because you had all those things.
Very much so.
One of the books I was reading talked about that they used to call it like the Big Five or something like that. And it was the metabolic health markers, like all the big ones. That was the name they used to use like in the 50s or 60s or something. And now they call it metabolic health.
Right.
And it was about, the blood pressure and the insulin resistance and, those things that basically would make you.
But the exciting part is you can get healthy.
And it doesn't take medication, and it doesn't take complication. Like you don't have to.
Well, like Dr. Siwas talk about, is that sometimes you might have to have a little medication to get you over the hump, just like somebody might need insulin.
Getting off of what you are,
because you can get in a bad cycle of one medicine promotes chasing problems, another one
chasing your side effects. But I was meaning you don't have to add another medication as a solution. You can literally
this was
just go BBB&E.
Started
bacon, butter, and eggs. That is.
Yep. Started getting rid of. Well, dropped all the garbage, added the good stuff completely, and just let it go to town, and just was blown away that all these good things were happening without even realizing that they were happening, and the weight was falling off. And for the first few weeks, that's all I was focused on. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, this is different. Something's different. And you noticed it. You were like, you're something's different. It got your attention. You had no interest in this. When I mentioned it, you were like, well, you're going to do what? And then it was like you saw a difference in me. It's like,
boys.
So I just tell everybody it's magic. My future daughter-in-law had some stuff that she had some miraculous stuff after 5 days of being not even strict carnivore, but leaning heavy meat and mostly carnivore. And she had some miraculous changes happen in 5 days that blew her mind. And it just, it's like, and we were talking about the internal stuff that just happens that we don't see. And I just say it's magic. It's freaking magic, because stuff happens. And it's like you can look at, but you see the healing on the outside once again from a cut. You watch it. It's like, or even I had my knee replaced, and it was fascinating to know that they fixed something, changed it out on the inside, and I felt better as soon as it was done, which was a trauma to the body and all that. I felt better with this giant swollen leg of surgery, and I walked out of the hospital in 2 days or a day after or whatever. I was walking that day, and but then I watched it heal. Well, it healed on the outside, it healed on the inside, and everything else is healing on the inside. Of course, I was in the process. I was still destroying myself. What part, and the body was still fixing that while I was destroying everything else.
You know what it's really
That's
done?
Crazy.
When you think about, like, we both have developed such an intense appreciation and almost like awe for the body's ability to heal itself, because of how many years we both spent just trashing our health and I mean, yeah, we cared, but we also mostly didn't care because we didn't know what to do. We were always worried, but we didn't know what to do. And now that we
just hope that you'd be okay.
Right. Hoping we'll make it. Hoping, I don't know.
Well, and I thought, well, all my aunts and uncles were all super fat and lived into their mid to late 80s. And it's like, yeah, that'll be fine. Well, they didn't eat seed oils, and they didn't eat a bunch of sugar. They had dessert, but they didn't go to the donut shop and eat a dozen donuts, so to speak.
Also, their quality of life, if they were that big, was diminished compared to what it would
I'm
be.
just getting at what was that fuel still sustained them in a different way than the fuel I had, because I always thought, well, if they did it, I'll be okay. But then it was like, this isn't working. I'm miserable.
Yeah.
So, yep. So anyway, if you want to change your metabolic health, carnivore is definitely an amazing, wonderful option. You can heal. Try it for 90 days. See what happens.
And it is more of a long term. Like, when people say, "Oh, I tried it, didn't work for me," every single person I've had that direct conversation with, they have tried it for less than a month. So,
and they weren't really, they were finishing up the rest of their food or whatever.
Right.
And they weren't,
it wasn't even a strict try. So this is very different than a typical deal. But then I think part of the reason why it's really caught on for us so much is because of the metabolic state we were both in, because we were both doing so poorly. You in particular hitting that, and knowing that you were hitting that critical mass.
Oh, I knew.
And I was just miserable in general, but I knew that you were in a bad way too. Like, that, I think, is part of why it has stuck so much, because
when you wake up in the morning and you didn't want to put your feet on the floor because you knew how bad it was going to hurt.
And now you're
and it wasn't just the feet,
like
it was
crazy kid.
Because your feet touched, they hurt, and then it traveled and sent the signal to the rest of your body that this is going to be horrible.
Can you imagine the reduced PSI on your every time you take a step?
Isn't it like 4.4 pounds of pressure
per pound of body weight or something?
Impact, yeah.
Something
crazy. It's a lot. So that's 500 pounds less of pressure per step. And I can feel the difference. Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
It shows.
Well, you can do it.
You can do it.
Go for it.
Let us know what you think.